Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text number 17. Abhyased manasa shuddham Trivrit brahmaksharam param Mano yache jitashvaso Brahma bijama vismaran. Translation. After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember the three transcendental letters A, U, and by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed. Purport. Omkara or the pranava is the seed of transcendental realization, and it is composed of the three transcendental letters A, U, By its chanting by the mind in conjunction with the breathing process, which is a transcendental but mechanical way of getting into trance, as devised by the experience of great mystics, one is able to bring the mind which is materially absorbed under control. This is the way of changing the habit of the mind. The mind is not to be killed. Mind or desire cannot be stopped, but to develop a desire to function for spiritual realization, the quality of engagement by the mind has to be changed. The mind is the pivot of the active sense organs, and as such, if the quality of thinking, feeling, and willing is changed, naturally the quality of actions by the instrumental senses will also change. Omkara is the seed of all transcendental sound, and it is only the transcendental sound which can bring about the desired change of the mind and the senses. Even a mentally deranged man can be cured by the treatment of transcendental sound. In the Bhagavad Gita, the pranava Omkara has been accepted as the direct, literal representation of the Supreme Absolute Truth. One who is not able to chant directly the holy name of the Lord, as recommended above, can easily chant the pranava Omkara. This Omkara is a note of address, such as, O my Lord, just as Om Hari Om means, O my Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we have explained before, the Lord's holy name is identical with the Lord Himself. So also is Omkara. But persons who are unable to realize the transcendental personal form or name of the Lord on account of their imperfect senses, in other words, the neophytes, are trained to the practice of self-realization by this mechanical process of regulating the breathing function and simultaneously repeating the pranava Omkara within the mind. As we have several times expressed, since the transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, etc. of the personality of Godhead are impossible to understand with the present material senses, it is necessary that through the mind, the center of sensual activities, such transcendental realization be set into motion. The devotees directly fix their minds on the person of the Absolute Truth, but one who is unable to accommodate such personal features of the Absolute is disciplined in impersonality to train the mind to make further progress. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So of late, you have seen many different events being organized over the last few years, promoting meditation and yoga. We had very much here in Bangalore last month on December 6th and 7th, the Global Yoga Summit with 3,500 delegates visiting from all over the world. And we have the International Yoga Day popularized by our Honorable Prime Minister Modi. And every now and then, so many different meditations and yoga programs keep happening. So all these different yogas, meditation are used to promote so many things, especially good health, peace of mind, and overall well-being. Of course, meditation, yoga do promote all these. All these are correct and factual, no doubt. But most of these proponents who promote this yoga and meditation, especially with this Omkara, ultimately, if you go into depth, if you attend those workshops, programs, courses, little more, if you go into the next level, ultimately the proponents finally declare that after doing all these meditations, we will realize that we are that. What is that? That God, divine. We are only God. So that is the ultimate realization which one will come to by performing the meditation. This is the conclusion which they promote. But in contrast, Srila Prabhupada, our beloved Vishwaguru, our spiritual master, has presented the actual purpose of meditation and whether we can become God or we will become dear to God by meditation has been very well explained by Srila Prabhupada. So usually this Omkara meditation is very popular. Everyone, promote this. And many of us also, whoever is sitting here in this theater and many people who are watching online also, most of us spiritually interested, spiritually inclined means we would have some stage in our life, we would have also started somewhere with this kind of practice of meditation, of Omkara. And then we would get different explanations and finally we will get confused. What is happening? What is that I have to achieve from this? Whether it is I will become God. And somehow we were touched by the transcendental Vani of Srila Prabhupada and we came to the right conclusion that we can never be God but we can become dear to God. So usually Om has been ruined. Although it is the impersonal representation of Lord Krishna, because of the extensive use of Omkara for different purposes like, to finally declare ourselves to become God, this chanting of Omkara has been ruined for the devotees now. So I thought today in this discussion we will try to understand a little bit about being devotees of the Lord. Where does Om versus Hare Krishna, where does it stand? Om or Hare Krishna? So though the sacred Om is often associated with the impersonalists or Mayavadis or those who say that all is one, Sarvam Khalidam Brahman, and we are also going to become that. They use this Om. But actually only the devotees understand the full meaning and import of Omkara. So throughout the Vedas there is mention of this syllable Om. In fact, we started our class with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Om was there. And this spiritual vibration called Omkara or pranava, it comprises of three Sanskrit sounds. What are they? A, U and Ma or So A, U, together becomes Om. When these three sounds are combined, the result is a single syllabled vibration called Om. So usually this Om has no direct translation from Sanskrit into any language. Certainly not in English. So everybody, every Vedant, every spiritualist, Indian spiritualist will accept Om as a representation of God. But different schools of philosophy view Om in different way. So mainly there are two understanding. One is the impersonalist understanding, another is the Vaishnava understanding or the devotee understanding. So the impersonalists, or the name suggests impersonalist means no person, not accepting personhood. They are happy to treat Om as an impersonal, formless representation of the absolute truth. Therefore, you see the impersonalists very happily, very openly they chant the name of Om, chant Om. But they are often very careful to avoid names such as Krishna and Rama. Of course, they will also do bhajan, they will also say Krishna, but they will say that's all for less intelligent people who have not yet realized the Om, the speciality and the greatness of Om. Why is it so? Because this is how they explain their theory. Since the whole universe has been created by God, whatever there is in this universe is actually God alone. So therefore everything has been created by God, and so everything is God. And so before the creation there is only God. So after that only everything came. Name, form. So therefore God cannot have any name. But if he has to have a name, then all names are his, for he alone is appearing in all forms. So the first sound, if you see in any language, Indian or foreign or any language, the first sound in most languages is A, or in English we say A, or whatever, it is the first letter A. And the last sound which ends when we are close our mouth is right? When we close our mouth, for making the sound of we will close the mouth. So opening is A, closing is So in the middle of these two is the center is U. So together all these three sounds represent all the other sounds. So A, it contains all the other sounds. This is the explanation they give. Therefore, if you chant Om, then the entire universe's all names, all forms, everything is included in this Om. So using this reasoning, the impersonalists conclude that the holy names that we chant, like Krishna, Rama, they are all secondary, because they are actually included within Om. A, U, Krishna, Kara, Sha, this is all coming in between somewhere. Rama, this is all coming in between. So they are actually, so according to them, Krishna, Rama are limited. But Om is the unlimited. Of course, we as devotees, practicing devotees, all of us chant Hare Krishna mantra, and everyone recite the 10 offenses against the holy name. Right? So one of the offense against chanting of the holy name is what? About giving some mundane interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. So this explanation given by impersonalists is to give a mundane interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. So it is an offense. So to say the holy name of Krishna or Rama is secondary is to give a mundane interpretation to holy name of the Lord. So that is a speculation. And it is one of the 10 offenses, it's a worst offense. So therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeatedly warned us to be careful not to commit such offense. And whoever commits such offense are called Pashandis or atheists. So therefore, we don't say that Om is ultimate, Krishna and Rama. Actually, all are sound representation of God. So what does Omkara exactly mean to us as devotees? Let us see. Our standard of analyzing any tattva, of course, is from our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, and we are also called Rupanugas because we analyze the tattva as understood and explained by Srila Rupa Goswami and the other Goswamis of Vrindavan. So the Goswamis of Vrindavan have analyzed Om or this as follows. So we understood the impersonalist understanding, right? A means the beginning, and Ma means the end, means ending, and who is in the middle, so that contains the entire universe. This is the impersonalist understanding. Vaishnava understanding given by Goswamis of Vrindavan. The letter A refers to Krishna, the master of all planets and master of all living entities. The letter U indicates Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Krishna. And indicates all of us, the living entities. Thus, according to the Goswamis of Vrindavan, Omkara represents Krishna, his name, fame, pastimes, potencies, and devotees, and everything else pertaining to him. So, therefore, Omkara is actually talking about Krishna, Radharani, and us. So, to the devotees of the Lord, therefore, there is no difference between chanting the holy name and reciting Omkara. So that is why in Bhagavad Gita, if you see various places, the Lord has spoken about this pranava Omkara. And he says that he himself, Krishna says, I am Omkara. Pranavaha sarva vedeshu. Out of all the Vedas, I am pranava, Krishna says. So just as Omkara is non-different from Lord's holy name, it is also inseparable from the Lord's beautiful form. Therefore, all the Vedas, Upanishads use the word Om or the syllable Om before chanting the holy name of the Lord, like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. So, the Omkara serves no other purpose to remind the devotee except of reminding him of Krishna. So, Prabhupada also confirms this, where he says that Hare Krishna addresses the Lord together with his energy, and similarly, Omkara also addresses Krishna with his energy, Radharani. So, therefore, Om refers to Supreme Lord Krishna. Yet, surprisingly enough, the Mayavadis also say Om is actually having no form. So, how do we understand this? So, Omkara, like Krishna, like what Prabhupada explains, a famous example of understanding of the absolute truth in 3 different phases. Can anyone tell me? What are the 3 different phases of understanding of the absolute truth? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So, Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful example to explain the understanding of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. One analogy. What is that analogy? Can anyone tell me? Sunshine, sun globe, sun god. So what is sunshine? Brahman. Sun globe, Paramatma. And sun god? Bhagavan. So therefore, just like absolute truth can be understood in three phases, even Omkara is understood in three phases by three different transcendentalists. For a Mayavadi or an impersonalist, he sees Omkara just as an impersonal sound. Whereas the mystic yogi who is performing yoga, he realizes the Omkara is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. But the devotee or Vaishnava realizes the personal aspect of Omkara as Bhagavan, where both Paramatma and Brahman are also included. So, therefore, the understanding of the impersonalists when they say Omkara is formless is not wrong. It is impartial understanding. It's a partial understanding. It's not a complete understanding. As they advance, they will realize Omkara is also situated in the heart of everyone as Paramatma. Ultimately, they will realize the personality of Omkara is Krishna. So, that means Hare Krishna and Om, there is actually no difference. Yes or no? What do you say? Hare Krishna and Om, there is no difference? So from today we can all start chanting Om. 16 rounds of Om we will chant instead of Hare Krishna. Actually, Hare Krishna and Om are equally potent sounds of Lord. But there is one difference. What is the difference? If at the time of death, one chants Hare Krishna, even though unintentionally, like Ajamila told, Narayana he called, unintentionally. Or if one chants Hare Krishna unintentionally, still one attains the Vaikuntha planets without a doubt. And this is a universal truth accepted by all authorities, also described in Bhagavatam. But if, however, one similarly chants Om, not thinking of Krishna, one attains to impersonal Brahma Jyoti, but does not associate with Krishna. This is not, I am not simply saying this like that. This fact is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, 11th verse. What is the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita's 11th verse? Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vadanti Vishanti Yadyatayo Vitaragaha Yadinchanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe. The translation is, persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Where do they enter? Into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, if they have to get that perfection of entering into Brahman, one practices celibacy. They have to be celibate, brahmachari. So purport Prabhupada explains, Lord Krishna has recommended to Arjuna the practice of Shat Chakra Yoga, in which one places the air of life between the eyebrows by this meditation. Taking it for granted that Arjuna might not know how to practice Shat Chakra Yoga. That's why Krishna has explained that. Especially for the impersonalist, the Akshara or Omkara, the syllable Om, is identical with Brahman. Krishna here explains the impersonal Brahman into which the renounced order of sages enter. Then Prabhupada explains the difficulty. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn the ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with the spiritual master in complete celibacy. That was a Vedic culture. Brahmachari vrate sthitaha. One has to be brahmachari and learn from the spiritual master like that. In this way, they realize two of Brahman's features, Sat and Chit. This practice is very essential for the student's advancement in spiritual life. But at this moment, such brahmachari celibate life is not at all possible. The social construction of the world has changed so much that there is no possibility of one's practicing celibacy from the beginning of student life. Throughout the world, there are many institutions for different departments of knowledge, but there is no recognized institution where students can be educated in brahmachari principles. Unless one practices celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. So in this situation, what is the solution? Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to scriptural injunctions, for this age of Kali, in this age, there is no process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So one may ask, if Omkara is also Krishna, why Krishna should not reciprocate if one chanting Hare Krishna mantra or Omkara, both are same. So if one chants Om also, Krishna should reciprocate at the time of death. Why they are reaching only Brahman? The answer is, it is possible to chant Om and go to Krishna. But that process is very, very difficult. It is not just externally chanting Om. There should be many, many more things to be done. That is also explained in Bhagavad Gita 8 chapter 13th verse. Krishna says how one should chant Omkara to attain Vaikuntha planets. Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran yah prayati tejam deham sayati paramam gatim. After being situated in this yoga practice, how? The yoga practice of brahmacharya, and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks, not just chants, one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Please note, he says, Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran. Krishna is saying, while thinking of me, mam anusmaran, then one can go. Whereas when you chant Narayana or Krishna at the time of, even without thinking of Krishna or Narayana, Ajamila did not think of Narayana when he chanted Narayana holy name. He was referring to his son. This is the difference. So in the purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, Srila Prabhupada informs, to fix the turbulent, restless mind upon Krishna at the moment of death, while uttering Om, there are certain rules one must follow. One must sit in a certain posture, cease all activities of senses, fix the mind on the heart, fix the life air at the top of the head. Most of us will be in the death bed, we say, where we will sit in a certain posture. And how we will be able to cease all activities of senses. How to fix the mind on the heart. How to fix life at the top of the air of head. Life air at the top of the head. And on top of it, Prabhupada also points out that only Brahmanas or those in the mode of goodness. Brahmana means by guna, not by birth. Only those who are in the mode of goodness can properly recite Om. When one chants Om after having fulfilled all these prerequisites and they think of Krishna, then he can reap the same result as chanting Hare Krishna. So this is the difficulty. So now one may ask, Prabhu, when it is so difficult, why did Krishna give this Omkara at all? Simply he could have given Krishna's Hare Krishna mantra to everybody. Why Om was introduced at all and to confuse so many people like this? 99% of the world, those who are interested in spirituality, especially in Eastern spirituality, they chant Om only. Very few people, you see the multivision theatre here, how many people are there chanting those who are devotees who are chanting Hare Krishna, very few. Everybody chants Om only. Why Krishna gave this Om? To create confusion. Because Krishna respects the free will of every living entity. So there are a class of people who are avyakta sakta chetasam. In the 12th chapter, which is called Bhakti Yoga, Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked, out of the two kinds of spiritualists, those who are devotees and those who are impersonalists, which is better? And Krishna said, Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. It's very difficult for those who are interested in avyakta or impersonalism, but they are in the majority. So for them he has to create one facility. Since such impersonalists have no solid name or form to fix their minds upon, therefore Krishna has given his own name in the form of Om. And because it has no direct meaning referring to any particular form, so therefore they are peaceful. They are thinking, without form, formless. This I will chant. But they are also associating with the Lord. So therefore Krishna has given this Omkara for them. By that what will happen? They will maximum attain Sayujya Mukti, going into Brahman and merging into Brahman. But that is not ultimate. After going there, what happens? Because the soul is potentially, it's always active, cannot remain forever there. So he has Shine Punye Marte Lokam Vishanti. He has to come back. Therefore it is not the perfect. So devotees, therefore, spread only the holy name of the Lord in the direct form of chanting holy names of the Lord, of Krishna and Rama and many other unlimited holy names of the Lord. So the pure devotee is fixed 24 hours a day on the form of the Lord. And so he is risen above all these rules and regulations for chanting Om. Directly when you are accessing the form of the Lord, why you want impersonal? So the devotee is chanting of Om. Even if a devotee chants Om, devotee will always chant Om along with the personal form of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Or even Om Namah Shivaya. They indicate there is a person along with this. It's not just. So when devotees chant Om, we actually chant Om as a form of addressing the Lord. Oh my Lord. That is Om. So as explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Om has so many rules and regulations which cannot be followed practically in this age, even by those who are intending to become devotees of the Lord. So easiest process which has no rules and regulations and can be chanted by anyone, anywhere, any place, any time, is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by chanting this holy name, there are only two rules. I just said there are no rules. But there are two rules. What are those two rules? All of us are mostly attending Soulful Japa, so you will know the two rules. Chanting distinctly, pronouncing distinctly, and hear the same sound that you are chanting. That's the only rule. If you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and hear the same sound, the sound will go within our consciousness. It will go within and it will purify us. So that is the simple process given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in this world, there are so many people who mislead in the name of spirituality, finally telling us that we will become God. Before we close, I just wanted to give one small story which happened during Srila Prabhupada's time in 1972. It's not only now that such many wonderful organizations are there who are teaching us, take breath in, breathe out, and relax and chant Om, and you will realize you are God. Even during Srila Prabhupada's physical presence, when he was preaching Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the Krishna consciousness was in such a great explosive spread, even then such organizations, such spiritualists, so-called spiritualists also existed. We will see one episode from that and how that was actually countered by the devotees of Krishna. So this happened on one autumn season in 1972 in Philadelphia, called the University City. Philadelphia, University of Philadelphia City, which is in the US, which is very near to New York. It's a neighboring city to New York. It's also called the University City because it has the University of Penn and many wonderful universities are there. Many students, many young people are in university in Philadelphia. So in this university city, where devotees had an ISKCON center and they were preaching, they were doing book distribution, one day they saw that on the walls of this university city, everywhere, there were bright yellow posters. And soon, everywhere there were these posters. And one devotees, when they were going for book distribution, they saw these and one devotee got very disturbed by seeing this so many posters coming up. He pulled out one poster and he brought it to his temple president. And he showed this poster. And he said, we have to put a stop to this. There is no way we can let this go on. So what was there in this poster which disturbed the devotee so much? The poster read, in bold black letters on the yellow poster, Krishna meditated, he became God, the love divine. Buddha meditated, he became God, the knowledge divine. Jesus meditated, he became God, the forgiveness divine. Now, God wants you to meditate so you can become God. In smaller type, it announced the members of a New York yoga group who were coming down in a week to offer an introductory presentation at the University of Pennsylvania's Christian Association. So they were offering a meditation course by promising Krishna meditated, Buddha meditated, Jesus meditated, and all of them became God by meditation. Similarly, God wants you to meditate to become God. So then the devotee asked the temple president, well, what are we going to do about it? And temple president said, what we are already doing, chant Hare Krishna, distribute more and more Bhagavad Gita, what else? But this devotee was very disturbed. He said, no, the posters are already there. You should go and, face them, counter them and, smash those rascals. As Prabhupada said, you should smash the Mayavadis. When they come to the town, you should go and challenge them. He snatched up this bright poster and thumped and said, see, don't you see what they are up to? It's a mystic yoga factory. They are going to set up a mystic yoga factory here. You have got to stop them. And many devotees came by the time seeing that this devotee is shouting and telling this temple president, many other devotees joined and they said, yes, you should do this, yes. What is this? They are saying first Krishna, then Buddha, then Jesus, and now you? Then the temple president is laughing. Could anyone take this seriously? But they say, no, many people will take it seriously. You don't know. So, how one devotee told, no, they take seriously. I'll tell you one example. What is the example? He said, once, one of these general public who come for the Sunday love feast, like we have the Sunday program, one person walked into the Sunday love feast. He attended the entire program. After attending entire program in a very serious way, he came to a devotee and said, I am very pleased by the way you are worshipping me here. So God has become dirt cheap. It was common to see these do-it-yourself gods made in their own homes with medicine mixed in basement. It was a cottage industry already. So now they are making a mystic factory. So, you see, they say like this, that you can become God and the God has no name. So, the impersonalist policy is that they will never give a name to God. So that, why they don't give a name to God? Because if they give name to God, God will become different from them. No, I also want to become God. So very casually they say, no, you don't give name to God. It's like saying, this temple president is explaining, one more guest on a Sunday feast, he came and he said, you speak so nicely about God, I liked it, everything, but you should not spoil it by giving God a name. Why are you saying Krishna, Krishna, Krishna every time? God you should say God. You should not give name. Then the devotee asked, what's your name? And she said, my name is Karen. And so, oh, Karen's quite a girl, nice girl. Then if I say Karen is quite a nice girl, will you say, oh, don't spoil it by giving it a name? You cannot describe a person without giving the name of the person. You have heard many people say, I think God is just energy. You note the word, God is just energy. They don't say God is energy, they say God is just energy. Because so you can reduce God to just energy. So just energy, I also can become just. So that's what this yoga society was doing. Actually, they are telling that, God is great, you have to, God is great, God is this, God is that. They'll describe God in so many ways. But ultimately, they are not actually glorifying God. They want to become God. They want to kill God, actual God, and they want to declare themselves as God. This is called demonic. And this can be understood by analyzing one very wonderful pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam, 10th canto, we see the glorious pastimes of Lord Krishna, his life. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when he comes to this world, why does he come? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So he came for delivering the devotees and to destroy the demons. So among the many demons whom he came to destroy, the chief was Kamsa. And as soon as he came, of course, Kamsa sent so many demons. So one of the demon who came, the first demon who came to kill Krishna was Putana. But you see, Putana came in a very wonderful way. How did she come? Did Putana come out directly as a demon? Like Trinavarta came as a demon directly as a whirlwind. In his original form only he came as whirlwind. But Putana, how did she come? As a beautiful young lady claiming to give her breast milk to Krishna so that he will become very healthy and strong. Mother Yashoda believed her so much and handed over the baby Krishna to her, seeing that, she must be goddess of fortune herself. Similarly, Putana, these impersonalist yogic philosophers who are setting up this mystic yoga factory also, they are saying Krishna became God. You can also become God. Like Putana. So, what they do? They will say all nice things, just like Putana told, very nice, very beautifully, very sweetly she spoke, and she took Krishna on her lap and she started feeding him breast milk. It appeared that she is really so much in love of Krishna, as if she is a great devotee. But what is Putana Bhakti? Ultimately, she wants to kill Krishna by giving the poison. Similarly, they may chant all the nice holy names, they may chant Om, they may do bhajan, they may do kirtan, but ultimately they want to deny the existence of Krishna as a supreme Lord, separate from us. I only can become Krishna. But what did Krishna do to Putana? Prabhupada writes very wonderfully in Krishna book, if you can refer that. Prabhupada says that he was how many years, how old was Krishna when Putana took him on his lap? Different people are saying different things. 3 months, 6 months, 6 years also somebody is saying. He was actually only 10 days old. You see what Kamsa says, as soon as he hears the prophecy, next day he goes and meets his ministers, they give him advice. What is the advice? Kill all the babies born in the last 10 days. And then he summons Putana, and Putana goes about killing all. So in the next 10 days, this thing, she is doing that. And then she finds Krishna. So Krishna is a small baby, 10 days old baby. And then he sucks the breast of Putana and sucks her life air. So there Prabhupada writes that Krishna was Supreme Lord even when he was a 10-day-old baby. Krishna did not have to meditate to become Krishna. God is not produced in any mystic factory, Prabhupada writes that. God is always God. Even when he is a baby in the lap of Mother Yashoda, or when he is showing the universal form in the Kurukshetra war, even when he shows universal form in his mouth as a small child, still he is the Supreme Lord. And when he is in the battle of Kurukshetra, he is showing universal form, still he is the Supreme Lord. So God is always God. One cannot become God. God is always God. So that is, therefore, to think that one can become God, Krishna also became God at some stage by meditation, and we can also become God by meditating, is Putana Bhakti. So then finally the devotees, they go to this gathering to counter them. They all go and sit. Everybody is sitting in peaceful lotus posture, and they're all started chanting Om. Then the meditation session goes on for some time. The devotees are all, instead of chanting Om, they have taken their chanting bags and they're chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Then finally the speaker comes. He comes onto the stage. Before giving his discourse, he says, please give your own experience, your own this thing, I want to listen from you. Then one girl from the audience stands up and starts telling some devotional poetry. And after that she says, my Krishna is not black. My Krishna is gold. I have painted him black with the ink of my mind. There it is. Gold means actually impersonal effulgence. And black means our mind. We have imposed this black color from our mind. Krishna is actually gold, impersonal. So this is what they are presenting. Then finally ask questions. Then the devotee, one devotee raises his hand. And the question is, you speak a lot about worship, but isn't there something higher? That's the first question. It's the first question, so they immediately realize that their slanting in their presentation has not satisfied the others. Now they are caught uncomfortably in between. So he gives answer very convoluted way. He takes several other questions and then finally he comes to the path of devotion. So the devotee says, actually Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, devotion is best, bhakti is best. So what do you explain? So he says, actually yeah, bhakti is best, Krishna says, because bhakti is easiest. Whatever path one takes, he will come to the same place. But because easiest path he wanted to do, so he said bhakti is best. So philosophically we understand that there is no difference between us and God, but when we practice bhakti, we don't think like that. For the purpose of bhakti, we think God as great, ourselves as small. We must become very humble and surrender to and serve our chosen ideal. Then the highest realization will come in oneness, then automatically in time we will become one with God. Then again the question came, one more devotee. Yes, your poster says that Krishna meditated in order to become God. Well, yes. Could you tell me how is it that God has to meditate in order to become God? Then that person becomes intimidated. He walks a few steps toward me. Well, we were just trying to express in words what is beyond words. But it is not hard to understand. God means omnipotent, unlimited. If I am God, then why should I have to meditate? What kind of God is that? Devotee asked. So then that person became really, no answer, no. So he looks at me with a hurt expression and raising his hands at me, palms out, he begins to speak. Oh, words, words. They're just words. Why are you taking it so seriously? And audience also all are in the impersonal mood. They're also like, yeah, words, words. This is an amazing performance. Wait a minute, I protest. You just spent an hour speaking all sorts of words, most of which sounded like nonsense to me. And now when I ask you one question, you say words, words, words. But of course they are past hearing, past words. They say, no, don't take all this seriously. Then one of the yoga society person comes and puts his hand. Hey man, you are creating duality here. So then the mystic yogis turn to other questions and the meeting quietly breaks up. So we approach them afterwards, but they refuse discussion. I tell them that as devotees of Krishna, we cannot tolerate blasphemy of him, and that I hope we will not see any more of such posters. So then after the devotees come back, then they talk, then the devotee says, they can talk nonsense for hours, and then when we challenge them, all of a sudden words become meaningless. The doctrine that words are meaningless is so nonsensical that it can't even be spoken. In fact, it cannot even be thought. So this is their Putana Bhakti. So finally, they had challenged by saying, why you are saying this? How Krishna meditated, how he became God? They didn't have answer. So finally, 1 week passes after this meeting. We had challenged Krishna, but in doing so, they had brought out in open their own mindlessness, their own petty envy of God. How ridiculous the tiny creature becomes when he aspires to be the supreme. They had challenged Krishna, but there was no doubt that it was, as it had to be, a clear victory for Krishna. In the short time, the yellow posters all disappeared from the city, and the mystic yogis, for whatever reason, did not come back. And the devotees continued their book distribution, and the city continued to be inundated by Hare Krishna Sankirtan. Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantri ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So we'll stop here. I hear that there is a very important ceremony coming up. So I will not take your much of time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.